Hello, everyone, and welcome to F1 Monday coverage here at Delta Revolution Racing. I am Kem, and I would like to thank you for joining this broadcast. If you have not subscribed to this channel as yet, make sure that you do so, and also make sure that you like the stream, as doing both of those things will help us out immensely. So we are here for the start of our first season in this league. It is a lot of familiar faces that are in this season and racing here in this race today. So this is going to be quite interesting, but yep, it is our first season as a league, and this is the first race of the 10-week calendar. So, as we just get ourselves prepared to go into the lobby, so as you can see, the race will be taking place around Spain for today. It's a short qualifying session, followed by a 50% race. I believe the race will be 33 laps, if I'm not mistaken. And oh my goodness, first race or first qualifying session of the season, and we are already in rainy conditions. So this is going to be quite an interesting qualifying session that is going to take place here. Some of these drivers are going to have to tweak their regular setups that they are used to, or that would be regularly used in the dry settings for this damp track. And we'll see. Looks like it's going to be inters for a lot of the drivers, but we shall see what it is and who it is that comes out onto the track first. And looks like there is a driver that is headed down the pit lane, and it is Pavonis of the Alfa Romeo team. So first on track, out for his outlap, and should be the first on a timed lap. So it is Pavonis of the Alfa Romeo team who is out on the track. Behind him will be Vedran of the Haas team, and then behind Vedran is Pavonis' teammate. That would be Crossfire Strike. So let's go back to Pavonis, and we will see how it is that the Alfa Romeo driver fares for his first qualifying lap that will, or the first qualifying lap that will be set in this league, as long as he does not invalidate. So we will see how it is that the Alfa Romeo driver does. So riding on board with Pavonis, we are going to see as he crosses the start-finish line. It is put down all the way, this long straight all the way down to turn one, braking at just about the 100, as unfortunately Pavonis has left the session. So maybe some connection issues for the Alfa Romeo driver. Hopefully he will be able to get back into the session. So we'll actually, I don't know, ahead of him. So it's actually going to be Vedran who's going to set the first lap in this league, albeit as long as he does not invalidate, and he has already had a moment. So these wet conditions are going to be quite tricky. Now riding on board with Stinos, he's just making his way past the half of Vedran. We'll see how it is that Steno fares through the rest of this sector 2 and the rest of this qualifying lap. Riding on board with Stenos as he goes through this new left-hander in Sector 3. New to the F1 22 game as opposed to the F1 2021 game. So some changes to a couple of these tracks, or a few of these tracks, 3 of them. Stenos gets his foot down and he will be the first to set a time at the 125.982 for Stenos. Behind him is an Aston Martin. That would be NLR Jazz. He has spun it. Next across the line is Koiks Gamer of the Williams team at the 128.803 for the Williams driver. Crossfire Strikes is next. That would be an out. Well, it is a time lap that is onto the board. We have Anthony with a 127.853. Puts himself in second position. We'll see who is next across the line. It is Parathib of the Red Bull team. He has invalidated his lap. Next will be Sev LaFleur. He goes to second with a 126.494. Well done for him. Next across the line, this is, we'll call him Zap, reserving for the AlphaTauri team as both Veloce and James are not able to race. And then also on their outlap, just about to start a lap, is Amaguner of the Williams team. So we'll see if anyone's on the lap. Looks like Stenos is on another push lap. So let us see how the Alpine driver fares as he goes through the last turn on this circuit. It will be put down for the Alpine driver, and it looks like it's going to be an improvement. It is by 2.5 tenths. It's a 125.7314 Stenos. Next across the line, Koiks Gamer also on another push lap on the same set of tires. It is an improvement, 127.641, excuse me, for Koiks, and Crossfire Strikes. Let's cross the line. He is in second, 125.952. Next across the line, BKS on an outlap. There is a McLaren that is headed into the pits. Next across the line is going to be Parathib. We will see jumps to fourth with a 126.501. Next across the line was another lap done by Sev LaFleur. Pushes himself to second with a 125.813. I believe Zap just set a lap time, puts himself in 5th place. So these laps are coming in fast. Amaguner next across the line. He jumps to 6th with a 127.014. So we have Apex Finley, who's currently on an outlap, about to cross the start-finish line to start another lap. And I don't know if Stenos may be on another push lap. So let's see if he will improve, and he does by nearly 4 tenths, 125.342 for the Alpine driver. Well done by Stenos. Koiks Gamer has invalidated. Crossfire Strikes is headed into the pit. It does seem like Pavonis is having some connection issues, so hopefully he gets that sorted out. And now riding on board with BKS jumps to 4th with a 126.391. Behind him is Parathib. He is headed into the pits. Vadran is currently on an outlap. Behind him is the reserve of Zap for the AlphaTauri team. We'll see if it's an improvement for him. And it is, jumps to 4th with a 126 dead. The Aston Martin driver of Sev LaFleur going into the pits, now riding on board with Amaguner, currently in 7th place. We'll see. Looks like it's going to be an improvement for him, and it is, jumps to 5th with a 126.253. Now riding on board with Apex Finley as he spins it, unfortunately. Will cross the line and set a time, but it will not be representative in 10th with a 128.554. Maybe on another push lap for the Mercedes driver of Apex Finley, as I'm just realizing that Zayek is out. So I'm not exactly sure what it is that happened with the Mercedes driver of Zayek, but he's already out and will not be setting a qualifying lap time. So now riding on board with Badran of the Haas team. Will be crossing the start finish line, jumps to third with a 125.831. We have Zap, who is reserving for the AlphaTauri team, has gone into the pits. Amaguner is going slow. This would be his third lap on that set of intermediate tires, and yep, he is into the pits. Crossfire strikes currently on an out lap. We have 8 minutes and 8 seconds left in this qualifying session. So I'll just look to see if there is anyone on a push lap. And it looks like Anthony is on a push lap, so we'll ride on board with the McLaren driver and see how it is that he fares. And it looks like some of these drivers are going onto the softs. So this is now gonna get quite interesting. Although it did say Sinos was on a set of softs, as well as it does say BKS and NLR Jazz on soft. So we'll see if these drivers actually do come out. But Anthony coming through the final turn, we'll see what time he puts on the board. Jumps to 8th with a 126.359. Next across the line, nope, next into the pits is Badran. So now riding on board with Crossfire Strike, currently in 4th position with a 125.952 to his name, and it says Purple Sector 2, nearly 7/10 faster, but he has made a mistake. And that will be an invalidated lap time for Crossfire Strikes. That's very unfortunate. So Seb LaFleur behind Crossfire is on an outlap. We'll ride on board with Koix Gamer. It did say that he was on, or did set, a Purple Sector 2 on 6-lap-old intermediate tires. So this is quite interesting. Very old tires for the Williams driver of Koix Gamer, but we'll see what he can do as it's foot down going to the start finish line, and it is an improvement all the way up to second with a 125.777. That is well done by the Williams driver. Now on board with Anthony. Will it be an improvement? Jumps to second with a 125.498. Next across the line is Parthib. He has invalidated. Sinos is on an outlap, but has decided to go into the pit. So this is going to be interesting. Are there any drivers on outlaps on the softs? Yes, there are, and DRS has been enabled. So it looks like if we are not at, we are very near to dry tire conditions. It's going to be interesting. Amaguner is coming to the start finish line. Seb LaFleur is still on the intermediates, and he is going purple. So it does look like Amaguner will not be pitting, and he will be setting a hot lap time. Let us see what it is that Seb LaFleur does as he goes through these final couple of turns. And he will be able to activate the DRS, and he jumps to first with a 124.569, the first into the 124s. Well done by Seb LaFleur. His teammate NLR Jazz on the soft tires. We'll see if they will work for him. Anthony has dove into the pit. Tire fib currently in 10th. This should be an improvement for the Red Bull driver. Jumps to first with a 124.559. So it does look like the track conditions are getting much better at the moment. Onboard with Amaguna has unfortunately invalidated that lap. We'll see if he does dive into the pits to put on a set of soft tires. So we have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in this qualifying session. Seb Leclerc is in second place at the moment in this qualifying session. It does say that he set a purple sector 2. Let us see what the Aston Martin driver can do going through the rest of this sector 3 into the final couple of turns. His foot down force, Seb Leclerc, DRS wide open, and he has jumped to provisional pole with a 123.835. I honestly do not know what is going to happen. Let's see. His teammate behind, Seb Leclerc's teammate behind him, NLR Jazz, will be the first to set a lap time on the softs, and it's not going to be good. So 11th with a 127.431, but it looks like it is still intermediate tire conditions at the moment. So now riding on board with Amaguna. I believe I was riding on board with him a couple minutes ago as he has set a purple sector 2. He did invalidate when we were riding on board with him previously. He is doing very well at the moment. So we'll ride on board with him through these final couple of turns. So the DRS wide open for Amaguna, jumps to second with a 123.962. Well done by the Williams driver of Amaguna. Stinos is out on soft tires. Seb Leclerc is on an in lap. His teammate behind him is going faster, and he is on the soft compound tire. So we'll ride on board with NLR Jazz for the rest of this lap and see. Had a little bit of a twitchy moment going through that final turn. Jumps to 9th with a 125.985. Behind him is Zap. Was on an out lap, now starting a flying lap. BKS behind him on an out lap on the soft tires. Behind BKS is Vadran on an out lap on the soft tires. It does seem like Amaguna is on another push lap, so we'll ride on board with him for the rest of this lap and see how it is that he fares. Yep, so not diving into the pits, going through this final turn. DRS wide open for the Williams driver, and he has improved slightly. Still stays in second place. That will probably be his final lap. We have Anthony on an out lap on the soft compound tire. Stinos is going very fast at the moment. What is this time gonna be? A 122.081 by Stinos to go provisional pole. We have H. Bosworth. He has not set a lap time as yet. Now riding on board with Corey Stamer. He's on an out lap. NLR Jazz coming to the line. Jumps to second with a 123.435. Behind him was Apex Finley. He was on an out lap. Prior Fib has jumped to fifth with a 124.559. So with the qualifying session is now over. Now riding on board with BKS. Jumps to second with a 122.404. Behind him is Vadran. Goes provisional pole with a 122.067. Behind him, Pavanis, unfortunately, had some connection issues, will not be able to set a qualifying time. Amaguner should be on an in lap as he will not be improving. Now riding on board with the McLaren driver of Anthony. Going through this final turn, it will be DRS wide open for the McLaren driver. Where will this put him? Provisional pole for Anthony, a 121.819. Who is across the line next? It is Crossfire Strikes with a 126.86. The first into the 120s. H. Bosworth up to 6th with a 122.450. And there was another driver that just crossed the line. Apex Finley go to second with a 120.762 this qualifying session. The first of this league. Absolutely ridiculous, but it is Crossfire Strikes of the Alfa Romeo team finishing in pole position. So I will give you the rundown for the starting grid of this, I believe it's 33 lap race around Spain. It is Crossfire Strikes, who was the first to go into the 120s with a 126.86. Behind him, Apex Finley with a 120.762. Anthony in third, 121.819. Fourth is Koiksgamer. Fifth, NLR Jazz. Priorathib in sixth. Badran in seventh. Stinos in eighth. BKS Kasblaver in ninth. H. Bosworth 10th. Sebla Flair 11th. 12th, Amaguner. Zap 13th. Pavonis 14th. And Zayek in 15th. What a qualifying session that was. Unbelievable. So we are just waiting to get back into the lobby and onto, well, waiting for the drivers to figure out, as it does seem like Pavonis is still having connection issues. King David, it does look like, has joined the session, so he will be reserving for the Ferrari team, and he will be starting at the back in this race. So just going through the comment section on YouTube, we have Wesley Ritson who says, "Let's go, boys." As we started that qualifying session, we have 100T4 144. I believe that would be Pavonis. He says, or said, "Let's do this." Followed by Harley, who says, "Here and watching Chem." Thank you, Harley. So it is 4 and 5 red lights as there is no formation lap. And we are away for this 33 lap race around Spain. And we'll see as it's Crossfire Strikes will be the first into turn one, albeit Apex Finley almost able to take that first place position, but it is Crossfire Strikes. Stinos has made up 4 positions off of the start, as there is a driver that I believe has had a moment. That would be H. Bosworth. So that is unfortunate for the Alpine driver of H. Bosworth. Ooh, as Apex has actually dropped 5 positions, so I'm not exactly sure what it is that happened with him. Riding on board with Anthony, he's side by side with BKS. BKS able to make his way past to go up into 5th. Now riding on board with Apex, he is side by side with Anthony and able to take that 6th place position from Anthony. Badran looking to make a move, not able to make it on Anthony. He will slot himself into 8th place. So a relatively clean start to this race as Crossfire Strikes in 1st place, already stretching his legs with a 1.8 second lead as he has set the fastest lap with a 126.859, I believe that said. Now riding on board with NLR Jazz. He is coming up to the side of Zap in the AlphaTauri. We will see what it is that takes place. It is side by side between both drivers, and NLR Jazz is able to make his way past Zap to go up into 10th. Well done by the Aston Martin driver. Now riding on board with King David with a huge lunge down the inside of Zap. Now side by side between both drivers, and it does look like, nope, they are still side by side. Squeeze a bit, and that is a spin, unfortunately, for the AlphaTauri driver of Zap. So unfortunately, King David with a bit of a squeeze on Zap, and that has unfortunately cost, oh, as it's a spin for Jazz. And he has fallen down the order. So that is unfortunate for the Aston Martin driver, as we have fastest laps coming in very quickly. It's 1:28.64, fastest lap for Stinos. DRS is now enabled on this lap 3. It is Stinos who is side by side and now making his way past Koiks Gamer to go up into 2nd. He will try and make his way down the field and try and catch up to Crossfire Strikes. So now riding on board with Anthony, he is following quite closely to the Mercedes driver of Apex Finley, as it looks like Zap has made his way. Oh no, it looks like a battle is going on between Jazz and Zap for that 15th place position. So riding on board, ooh, and Apex goes wide. It is DRS for both Anthony and Vedran, as Apex has lost 2 positions in one straight, and it looks like Apex may have suffered some damage as he went into the back of Vedran. Both Zayek and King David making their way past Apex Finley. So that's unfortunate for the Mercedes driver, as Stino sets the fastest lap with a 1:24.81. And yup, Apex Finley is into the pits. So that is unfortunate for the Mercedes driver of Apex Finley. He's going to have to try and claw his way back for the remainder of this race. I am now riding on board with Amma Gunnar, as he is quite close to the back of Seb Lafleur. So we will see. Let's ride on board, and we have a good vantage point to see what Seb Lafleur is going to do as far as the battle between himself and Pavanis for that 10th place position. So it is DRS wide open for Seb Lafleur. Amaguner behind him should have DRS as well, but not enough of a straight for Seb Lafleur. But unfortunately, making contact with that Alfa Romeo driver. Luckily, none of the drivers have spun due to that contact, and Pavanis is able to maintain that 10th place position. So I'll go to the front of the field. Stinos has caught up to Crossfire Strikes. We'll go to Seb Lafleur. He has made his way past Pavanis to go up into 10th place, and it is a battle between Crossfire Strikes and Stinos. We will see who comes out ahead going into this drifting left-hander, and it does look like Stinos has made his way past Crossfire, and he is up into first place. Well done by the Alpine driver of Stinos. It will be DRS for Crossfire Strikes, but it will not be enough straight for him to make his way past Stinos to reclaim that first place position. Pavanis has run a little bit wide ahead of Amaguner, as hearing some tire screeching as May have been a slight lockup by the Williams driver of Amaguner, and he is getting, oh, had a bit of a moment though, was getting quite close to Pavonis. I'm not sure if there was potential dirty air that may have affected Amaguner now riding on board with Crossfire Strikes. It is nearly side by side between both drivers, but Spinos is able to maintain that first place position as we have yellow flags and someone has spun. It is Anthony. So there, as Amaguner and Pavonis make their way past Anthony, he has had an unfortunate moment going through turn 2 and has seen himself drop all the way down to 15th place. That's unfortunate for the McLaren driver. So I'm now riding on board with BKS, and he's actually right behind his teammate, Prior Thib. So Prior Thib currently in 4th, BKS, his teammate, behind him in 5th place. So I'm now riding on board with Prior Thib. He is going to have DRS. We have yellow flags in sector 3. Someone is falling down the field. Looks like it is Amaguner. So Prior Thib has made his way past Koix Gamer to go up into 3rd place. Now riding on board with Zap. Ooh! With quite a beautiful turn through turn 1. He has made his way up and past NLR Jazz to go up into 12th. What a move by Zap, reserving for the AlphaTauri team in today's race. So we'll go on board with Vadranis, DRS wide open. Unfortunately for him, BKS ahead of him also had DRS to aid him, but we'll see. As he seems to be getting quite close to BKS, and MLR Jazz is making his way close to Zach, who just made his way past him. So this will be interesting. Koix Gamer in 4th will have DRS. Will he have enough speed to be able to catch Prior Thib in front of him? He will not have enough straight nor speed, and he will have to stay slotted in 4th as Pavonis is into the pits for a tire change on this lap 8. So Pavonis has decided to get rid of those medium tires. He has decided to go onto the hards. Now riding on board with Koix Gamer. He is going to have DRS assistance as he is just behind Prior Thib. DRS wide open for the Williams driver, but not enough straight to be able to make his way past Prior Thib to go into 3rd. He'll have to stay slotted in 4th. So we are currently on lap 8, about to be lap 9, as Spinos is just making his way past the start-finish line. He has a 1.7 second lead ahead of Crossfire Strikes in 2nd. Behind Crossfire Strikes is Prior Thib in 3rd. Behind Prior Thib with DRS is Koix Gamer. Behind Koix Gamer is BKS in 5th. Vadran currently sitting in 6th. We have Zayak in 7th as NLR Jazz has made his way into the pits to ditch those soft tires. Seems to have gone relatively long on that soft tire. We're riding on board with BKS. He looks to be making his way quite close to Coix Gamer ahead of him. So it is currently a Williams sandwich as Prior Fib is currently in third, Coix Gamer in fourth, and Prior Fib's teammate BKS in fifth place. As it looks like Pavonis. Oh! And I believe BKS just made an error on his own. It almost looked like there was contact that was made, but Badran was about 3/10 behind him. So I believe that was just a mistake that was made by BKS. So that's unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. So Badran currently in sixth. He is chasing down Zayek ahead of him. Zayek does not have DRS, and that not going to be an easy move as they are relatively close going side by side. However, Badran does get the move done as Prior Fib is the first to get a 3-second penalty for multiple track limit warnings. So currently riding on board with King David, as he has made up quite a few positions. Both him and Zayek have made up 9 positions. So both the Mercedes and Ferrari driver are doing quite well so far in this race. We'll go down to the back of the field. It is NLR Jazz, who is currently in 15th. He is following relatively closely to Pavonis ahead of him in 14th. Both of these drivers have pitted, so they are on fresh sets of tires respectively, as it looks like King David has made his way past Zayek to go up into 6th. We have yellow flags in Sector 3. It is Amaguna. So we'll see as both Pavonis. Ooh, and Pavonis has had a movement! And NLR Jazz did make contact with the Alfa Romeo driver. I am not sure if he has potentially suffered any damage as Zayek, sorry, that's Badran, has actually had a moment and is now dropping down the field. So as some of these drivers, their tires are getting quite worn through this race. Some of these drivers are having a bit more difficulty navigating their way around this circuit. As Parthib gets himself, as well as H. Bosworth, both get themselves 3-second time penalties. I am now riding on board with BKS. He's going to make his way past Zayek to go up into 6th place. NLR Jazz, not a good camera, but he has made his way past Amaguner to go up into 13th place. So we are currently on lap 12 of 33, just over 1/3 of the way through this race. Now riding on board with Coix Gamer. He is relatively close to Prior Fib ahead of him. And he is also going to get the aid of DRS. That is impressive the way he took that turn going right over that mini sausage curb. So there was DRS. That did help Coix Gamer, but not enough straight for him to make his way past Prior Fib. Riding on board with King David has done an impressive job so far in this race. Sorry, none of these 4th, 5th, and 6th drivers are hitting, but we'll see as King David is using his battery. We'll see as we're getting a good view of this battle to try and get fourth. King David almost snuck his way past Koitz Gamer to go up into fourth place. Sorry, this battle for third, actually. As both Koitz Gamer and King David are behind Parathib. We have yellow flags. It looks like it is, I believe that is no, it's Amaguner. And he has DNF from this race. So we will see if there will be a safety car. It doesn't look like it at the moment, as there aren't many drivers who are going through that particular section of the circuit. As I went through, oh! That's a massive collision between, it looks like Parathib Zayek and Sev LaFleur, and yup, it is a safety car. So I am not sure what it is that happened, but a massive collision that, as Zayek gets himself a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. So things going from bad to worse for Zayek, as interestingly enough, so Stinos was able to make his way past the safety car. Crossfire Strikes has pitted. Sev LaFleur has decided to stay out, interestingly. Crossfire Strikes has decided to stay out. Or sorry, he pitted for a set of hards, as Crossfire has made a mistake. And that will cost him one position. So there are a lot of drivers making their way into the pits. Oh no, Stinos actually got himself a drive-through penalty as well. So that is going to be very unfortunate for the Alpine driver. So it is both Stinos in first, as well as Zayek, as Stinos is making his way into the pits. I'm assuming it will be hard tires for the Alpine driver. So it's both Stinos and Zayek getting themselves drive-through penalties during that, during the beginning of this safety car period. We'll see. As if it is hard tires, it is everyone on the hard tires except for NLR Jazz, who is on the mediums in 13th. So it looks like, yep, so Sev LaFleur has decided to pit. Vedran has not. So this is quite an interesting strategy call by the Haas driver of Vedran. When does he plan on pitting? Has Sev LaFleur gone onto the softs? This is quite interesting. I do not know if he will be able to make it to the end of the race on those softs, but he has just come out in 7th place, just ahead of the AlphaTauri reserve of Zap. So as we are currently under safety car conditions, we are on lap 15 of 33. I would like to thank everyone who is tuning into this first race of the season. It has been eventful so far. Starting with the qualifying session, as it was rainy conditions that began to dry up about midway through the qualifying session, and then fastest lap after fastest lap began to be pumped in by these drivers. So it was quite the entertaining qualifying lap, and now we have quite an eventful first half to this Spanish Grand Prix, the first race of the season for these drivers here at Delta Revolution Racing. So we just had to take a bit of a break to see if there were any comments in the YouTube chat, which there is not. But once again, I would like to thank everyone who is tuning into this race. So far, it has been quite eventful. We will see if the safety car will be coming in this lap. Ooh, Astinos has had a little bit of a moment, luckily able to keep himself in that first place position. Yep, so it has been determined that the safety car will be coming in this lap by race control. Now, Stinos of the Alpine team, he is going to be the one to dictate the pace and determine when this race gets back underway. However, both himself and Zayek are going to have to serve drive-through penalties. And interestingly enough, I'm looking at that sky and it is looking like it is starting to get a little more cloudy as Koik's Gamer has gotten himself a 5-second time penalty for colliding with BKS. So it does look like Stinos is away, almost had an oversteer moment. But he is away, now riding on board with crossbar strikes. He has made his way past the Grand to go up into second, as looks like Prior Thib has had a moment. Badran gets himself a 3-second time penalty for, oh, and we have a moment. Pabonis is out. As it looks like both Mercedes drivers collide with each other as well. So not entirely sure what it is that happened, but a bit of carnage as we have restarted this race from the safety car conditions. I'm now riding on board with BKS. He is following quite closely to Koik's in front of him as Zayek has made his way past NLR Jazz to go up. Yes, Zayek has made his way past NLR Jazz to go up into 12th. We have yellow flags in second, and Zayek has crashed out of the race. So will it be, most likely will not be a safety car. Prior Thib having a bit of a battle between NLR Jazz at the moment as, ooh, Prior Thib with almost a really bad error, now riding on board with King David. Will he try and make this move? Had to go a bit wide and back out. Looked like he was going to make that same sneaky move that he made a few laps ago that we saw. So NLR Jazz and Prior Thib are into the pits. I believe both of them did sustain damage. So it's still going to be interesting. When is Stinos going to decide to make that pit stop for the drive-through penalty? We have BKS making his way side by side with Koik's Gamer, leaving him room on the inside, fair driving by both of these drivers, and it looks like, nope, Koik's Gamer still trying to take that position, and King David has gone for a spin, unfortunately. Stinos, as H. Bosworth gets himself a 10-second time penalty for cutting the corner. So Stinos serving that drive-through penalty. Where will he filter out? So he filters out all the way down in 10th place, so he'll try and make his way back up the field. See if he can maybe try and get a podium as NLR Jazz is out. Now, these drivers are approaching where that incident has taken place, where NLR Jazz has crashed out. Will there be a potential VSC or SC? It does not look like it at the moment. It's DRS 4. Zap, not enough straight, as looks like Prior Thib has had a moment and has spun it in Sector 1. He is currently in 12th place. Now a battle between Seb LaFleur and Zap. They are going side by side, and it looks like Zap has yielded. Seb LaFleur has made his way up into 5th place. This is quite the intense first race of the season. Now riding on board with Seb LaFleur. Will he be able to make this move on Koit's Gamer? They are side by side, and yes, Seb LaFleur of the Aston Martin team able to make his way into 4th place. So King David reserving for the Ferrari team today. He is into the pits. Now riding on board with Zap. You will see trying to go down the inside of Koit's Gamer. Almost making contact with the Williams driver. Luckily, they do not. Nothing bad comes of it, and he is able to stay in 6th place. DRS wide open for Zap. But there will not be enough straight for him to make his way past Koit's Gamer. We have yellow flags in Sector 3. Prior Thib is out. So Prior Thib is out. It does look like, I believe he has retired from the session, so these drivers are going to have to be careful. His car may come back onto the track as Seb LaFleur sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:21.43. Now riding on board with Zap, he is able to make his way past Koit's Gamer to go up into 5th place. Well done by him! But Koit's Gamer has fought back and made his way past! I believe, if my eyes did not deceive me, unless I got that wrong, there was a battle going on between Koit's and Zap. Koit's is currently in 5th place, Zap in 6th, Anthony currently in 7th. So it is DRS wide open for Anthony. Not enough straight to be able to do anything. Zap is getting quite close to Koit's Gamer. I wish I was sure. I was sure that there was a battle, or that Zap had actually made his way past Koit's, and then Koit's then took that 5th place position back. I am not entirely sure. Well, that's something that may have to be seen on the replay. Now riding on board with Seb LaFleur. He is going side by side with BKS. Looking for a potential switchback to go around the outside. Slotting in, and he's made contact with BKS, and BKS is around. That is very unfortunate for the Red Bull driver, and I would expect that will be a reported incident after this race, as Seb LaFleur just got a little bit too close to BKS and touched the back of his car and caused him to spin. So I'm now riding on board with Anthony. Not enough straight to make his way past Koit's. Behind Anthony is H. Bosworth. Relatively quiet race for the Alpine driver. He started in 10th and is currently in 7th place. So he's doing a good job, and his teammate behind him is Spinos. So judging by the pace, so Spinos has been let through by H. Bosworth. Stinos will now try and track down Anthony, who is about 8/10 ahead of him. Now riding on board with Anthony. We currently have 10.5 laps remaining in this race. Riding on board with Anthony. Ooh, has to be careful to not go into the back of Coix. But now Stinos has made his way past Anthony to go up into 6th. And Anthony may be under threat by, looked like he was potentially under threat by Stinos' teammate H. Bosworth. A bit of a mistake made. Now we'll see. Will Stinos, as Coix has gone slightly wide, but Stinos is trying to make his way around the outside. It is side by side between both drivers. Stinos has made his way up into 5th place, as Seb LaFleur has set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:20.071. This is unbelievable action that is taking place in this race for this Monday Formula One tier. So I am now riding on board with Anthony. He is about 3/10 behind Coix Gamer. As Coix Gamer has run slightly wide, this may be the invitation for Anthony to take that 6th place position away from Coix. We will see what it is that happens through this next turn, as Anthony will get himself DRS to assist. His top speed, but not enough straight going into this new turn in this Spain circuit. So in 6th place is Coix Gamer. In 7th is Anthony, very close to the back of Coix. Behind, so Stinos has set the fastest lap with a 1:19.913. We'll ride on board with Anthony. Both Coix and Anthony are low on the battery. However, H. Bosworth has almost half his ERS left. So for the last 8.5 laps of this race, that is going to be of great benefit to the Alpine driver of H. Bosworth, and we'll see what it is that he is able to do with all of that ERS energy stored for the rest of this race. Now riding on board with Anthony. It does look like Coix has gone slightly wide and he is low on the battery, but Anthony still not able to make his way past Coix Gamer. If he is able to stay glued to the back of Coix, as Vedran has decided to go into the pits on 24-lap-old hard tires. Check that. That would actually be 25-lap-old hard tires. So he may be going onto the soft. He's going to be quite fast for the rest of this race. Anthony was not able to stay close to the back of Coix, so he is going to have to stay behind Coix in 6th position. So Vedran coming out of the pits, he is on the soft tires, comes out in 9th place. Will have to be careful as his tires will be cold. We'll have to be careful so that he does not spin out before his tires are able to warm up. So once again, riding on board with Anthony. Will he be close enough? Oh, it looks like he has gotten a good exit And he's using the ERS energy. It's going to be side by side between both drivers, leaving space for Coix. He has made his way up into 5th. Well done by the McLaren driver of Anthony. We will see sorry about that, Coix. Will he be able to stay close to Anthony to try and fight back and get that 5th place position? Stinos pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap. That's a 1:19.783 for the Alpine driver. So as it is right now, it is 6.5 laps remaining in this race. It is Crossfire Strikes of the Alfa Romeo team, currently in 1st. Seb Leclerc, currently in 2nd place, has made up or gone up 9 positions from the start of this race. Well done by him. You have Zap, who is reserving for the AlphaTauri team. He is in 3rd, has made up 10 positions. Well done by him as well. We have Stinos currently in 4th, has made up 4 positions from the start of this race. He did have to serve a drive-through penalty after the safety car period. We have Anthony in 5th, as H. Bosworth is getting somewhat close to Coix, but not able to make his way past just yet. We have Anthony in 5th. Coix Gamer currently in 6th place. We have H. Bosworth of the Alpine team in 7th. BKS behind H. Bosworth in 8th. We have Vedran. Stinos sets another fastest lap of the race with a 1:19.713 as H. Bosworth has decided to dive into the pits. So as now Vedran has set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:19.123. So Vedran has moved up into 8th as H. Bosworth is into the pits. And it looks like it's a new front wing for H. Bosworth, if I have seen that correctly as well. I'm not sure. King David gets himself a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And it is a new nose for the Ferrari reserve driver. He has also decided to go onto the soft compound tire, maybe trying to set the fastest lap of the race. So I'm not riding on board with Vedran, who is currently in 8th place. Will be able to make good use of the soft tires. Has also a lot of battery to his advantage. DRS wide open for the Haas driver. He is making his way beside BKS and just past him, going into that first turn of the circuit. So Vedran is currently in 7th, BKS currently in 8th place. So we have four and a half laps remaining in this race. We will see who will be able to claw any either time or positions back, as some of these drivers, 4 of these drivers, have time penalties to their names. And actually, we will see. So at the moment, Vedran is currently, actually he would currently be in that 7th place position. As it is right now, BKS is actually in 6th. And Coix would be dropping to 8th place if the race were to finish as it is right now, or if these drivers were to keep the exact same gap as it is right now. But we do still have about 3.5 laps remaining in this race, so we'll see what it is that takes place if Koixiamer will be able to get a bit of a distance between himself and Vadran behind him, but with Vadran being on 4-lap-old soft tires, Koix is on 16. He's probably on lap 17 of those hard tires. It is going to be a struggle for him to be able to fend off the Haas driver of Vadran. King David has set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:18.898. It did look like Vadran went slightly wide going into that turn, but it did not cost him too much time. Oh, as Koix has decided to go into the pits. So Koix will be serving that 5-second penalty that he has. Not riding on board with BKS as he was looking to try and make his way past Vadran, but has to yield going into that turn one. Will stay in 7th place as Apex Finley is on some very old hard tires. We will see if he'll be able to do the rest of these. That would be 2.5 laps left, 2 3/4 laps left that he will have on those tires. Hopefully the Mercedes driver will be able to make it to the end on those hard tires. It is DRS wide open for BKS. It will not be enough straight for him to make his way past Vadran, as King David has decided to call it quits, and he has retired in the pit. So every driver that is remaining will be scoring points. It is now just a question of where all of these drivers will be finishing, where we have penalties that have been incurred during this race, as H. Bosworth gets himself a 3-second time penalty. And yep, so that was King David's lap car, as H. Bosworth is having some struggles at the moment. Now riding on board with BKS, he is right on the back of Vadran. So I am wondering, I don't know, as both Haas and Red Bull drivers have touched, and it looks like Vadran has come out worse between both of those drivers. So I don't know if these soft tires for Vadran are potentially falling off. So I'm currently riding on board with Stino. He is going to get himself DRS to aid him. So he is going down this start-finish straight. We will see if he is able, as there's yellow flags in sector 2. That looks like it would be, I believe that is I think it is Koix. So this is, I've actually not realized, it is the final lap of this race. There is a battle that is going on for this 3rd place position between Zap and Stinos. However, it is Crossfire Strikes who is currently going through Sector 2. He is in the lead of this race with Sev LaFleur about a second behind him. It is now DRS for Stinos, but I don't believe he's going to have enough straight to make his way past Zap. As it stands, riding on board with the Alfa Romeo driver of Crossfire Stripes, going through this final turn, it is first place for Crossfire Stripes. Behind him, Sev LaFleur of the Aston Martin team. We have Zap in 3rd, Stinos finishing the race in 4th. We have the McLaren driver of Anthony finishing in 5th. Well done by him. sixth place is BKS. In seventh will be Vadran. So just going through the end of Sector 2 is Quakes of the Williams team, and every driver who is remaining is on the lead lap, which is good to see. So we are riding on board with Quakes. He is going through the final couple turns of this circuit. He will be seeing himself finishing in 8th place as Apex has decided to finish in the pits. And finally, it will be H. Bosworth who will cross the finish line to finish in 10th. But it is Crossfire Strikes of the Alfa Romeo team finishing in first place. What a drive by him. Seb Lafleur is deemed the driver of the day by the game as well. That is well done by him too. So I will give the rundown of the final finishing places for this race around Spain. It is Crossfire Strikes of the Alfa Romeo team finishing in first. Seb Lafleur of the Aston Martin team finishing in second. Zap, who actually is reserving for the AlphaTauri team, finishing in third. Well done by him. Stinos of the Alpine team finishing in fourth. We have Anthony of the McLaren team finishing in fifth. BKS of the Red Bull team in sixth. We have Vadran of the Haas team finishing in seventh. Quakes Gamer of the Williams team finishing in eighth. We have Apex Finley of the Mercedes team finishing in ninth. And finally, rounding out the top 10 finishers, also getting the fastest lap as well, which is good. So that'll be an extra point for H. Bosworth finishing in 10th place. So it'll be, as it is for now, 2 points for H. Bosworth. And for the rest of the field, it is King David, who did not finish. In 11th, Parathib in 12th did not finish. NLR Jazz in 13th. Zayak in 14th. Pavonis in 15th. And Amaguner rounding out the rest of the drivers who took place in this race. So I would like to thank everyone who tuned into this first race of this first season of Delta Revolution Racing. What a qualifying session and what a race. Make sure that you like this stream/video, and also if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel as yet, make sure that you do that, as there will be races every single Monday for the next 10 weeks. There will be a break week between weeks 5 and 6, but expect coverage of this Monday F1 Monday division every single Monday at 7:30 p.m. UK time. If you would also like to join this league, the info is in the About section of this YouTube channel. So the Discord server link is in the About section. So make sure you go there. And if you would like to join and trial to race in this league, you can do that as well. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for tuning into this broadcast. Make sure that you like this video, share it as well if you can, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. For myself, Kem, I would like to say thank you once again, and do not miss out on the action that will be taking place next week, Monday at 7:30 p.m. UK time. Thank you all for tuning in, and take care.